son of a bitch. I'm going to put this out in 2 parts because I don't want that fucking watermark thing. By the way, you send me $50, anybody, I'll just pay for the thing where I can use the editing software without that watermark. But I can't deal with that fucking watermark today. Face-to-face wrestling anyway. 90s sitcom shit. Face-to-face wrestling on the 20th. Michael Judas winning gold in Puerto Rico. Michael Judas, of course, my #1 selection on who the NWA should book. Michael Judas showed up as a surprise at Southern Honor. Michael Judas having a big old time in the wrestling world. Good for fucking him. That guy is fucking prime time. Should be doing it for a living level talent. Love him. What's the last news item before we go to the commentary? Oh, by the way, Bushido, they named their last show, which very few people attended, No Names Needed. Can we stop with the swipes at Viral? It's not working. It's not working. The name of their next show is IWE versus Bushido, The War Rages On. I would be much more interested in seeing that fucking show. Can we all agree with that? Yeah. Plus Bushido, right now you're tugging on Superman's cape, right? It's a 3-way war, right? With PWX, Viral, and Bushido. But Bushido right now, you're literally drawing a 10th of what the other ones are drawing. Focus on your fucking self. It's time. Oh shit, that's my phone going off. I'll leave it alone. Oh my God, Paul Lee. Paul Lee. Running for mayor of Ringgold. His fucking post on Facebook riddled with fucking grammar. God, he's a fucking idiot. But vote for Paul Lee November 5th. He's going to make business happen in Ringgold. He's going to make it happen. That's his platform. His platform is holy fuck. Okay, wait. Fuck, my phone's blowing up and shit. Oh. Look at that Crossroads poster. That's a lot better. God, it looks like something that, I don't know, PCW did back in the day. Good for them, though. It's a fucking different look. I've noticed that the Southern Fried posters have become progressively better. That's a good thing. So, breaking news. Yeah. Paul Lee, mayor of Ringgold. How bad must the other candidates be? I can't imagine. Is Paul Lee going to win? Fuck! No! I'm gonna spike the football on Paulie losing that fucking race on November 6th. On November 5th is election day. On November 6th, I am calling out. I'm gonna spike the football on his fucking ugly face. Using the leather from his old ass to make the football. You're not winning, Paulie. Fuck you, you piece of shit. That's one thing C. Nick and I at the end of the day can agree on. Paulie's a piece of shit. Me and him are on the same page on that one. Just like that fucking meme with the hands. Like, C. Nick, Steven Platinum. Paulie's a piece of shit. Yay, unity. All right. That's as close to an olive branch as C. Nick is ever going to get from me. All right, commentary. NWA, going to have a studio show. People are excited about it. There are lingering concerns and questions, of course. Like, where is the studio show even going to be shown? That hasn't been made clear to me. They don't really have a TV thing. Is it going to be an internet thing? Whatever. Here's what I found out recently. Let me say this. We all know that I'm a big fan of Larry Goodman. Full disclosure. Fucking love Larry. I think he's an integral part of the Georgia scene. I think he's the only guy this year who anybody should vote for the Legend Award. He should get 50% of the vote. He should get fucking 100% of the vote from everybody. And he should be the Legend Award winner this year. He's been writing about wrestling for more than 2 decades. He's been helping the Georgia scene for at least 19, 20 years. And he went through proper channels and even got other writers. Jesus fucking Christ. People fucking messaging me, so. Sorry, I'm watching people comment on the Southern Fried poster and how much they fucking hate it. To me, it just looked like something PCW would have done. It's definitely an interesting move for them. Anyway, we'll talk about that at another time. I want to focus on this shit because it's important. So Larry went through proper channels and even got people to vouch for him. Because Larry, whether you guys know it or not, like when he did that Ring of Honor report, it gets published or other people show it. Not just Georgia Wrestling History, but PW Insider, Pro Wrestling Insider. Occasionally Meltzer reprints his stuff. Larry is our touchstone, not only in Georgia wrestling, but our ability to have contact outside of it in the larger wrestling world. I said it a long time ago, your show ain't shit if Larry has never gone to it. And I mean it. And I'm right. So what did the NWA do when Dave Lagana, who's one of their guys at the NWA, was approached about, Larry, I vouched for Larry. Larry wants to be there and help give you guys good coverage. You're going to need it because you're not going to have a huge crowd there. It's a studio crowd that they're bilking $100 a piece from, and they're going to want to do shows there repeatedly. So certainly Larry is going to speak directly to the people that would potentially pay $100 for a ticket and continue to come. And because it's an NWA story and it's Larry Goodman, it's the kind of thing where Dave Meltzer would cover it. Again, who's Dave Meltzer talk to? They're more their potential audience, right? Because the NWA's online presence has been pretty much shit. So what do? Derisively dismiss Larry. We're not giving out any press passes. Basically saying they don't need any kind of coverage for this thing. And then going, Larry, your Twitter doesn't even have a profile picture. Because Larry Goodman fucking uses Twitter. Like the NWA is gonna get most of their fucking 40-year-old plus fans that give a fuck about those letters NWA use fucking Twitter as their primary form of being informed and communicating. I get it, Lagana. I get that the McMahons ran you through the ringer and they disgraced you on television on more than one occasion, as they used to do to most of their writers. I get that you're bitter and you think you have all the answers, which is why the NWA is such a significant thing to this day. The fact that the NWA is not going to give out press passes of any kind to anybody, right? So the AJC, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, which is the biggest paper in Atlanta, wants to send somebody, you're not going to hook them up and get coverage? The fuck? As excited as I was about the NWA a week ago, and when I made that video, I am the exact opposite today. Lagana, get your head out of your ass. Billy Corgan, get your head out of your ass. You need coverage. You dumb motherfuckers. You are fighting a guerrilla war. You're the nothing rebels against a number of countries that are going at each other. You're behind WWE by light years. You're behind AEW by miles. You're behind MLW by miles. You're behind Ring of Honor. Fuck, New Japan has more of a fucking presence in the United States than you do right now. And if a guy like Larry Goodman, or specifically if Larry Goodman wants to be at your show to give you coverage that could lead to somebody in the wrestling world actually knowing what the fuck happened at your studio taping, which is filled with fucking guys that you used to work with in Impact who you liked. That's what it feels like your roster is entirely comprised of right now. You need somebody who's going to give you positive coverage and start the conversation about you that you can repost and other people can repost and other people can see, because you will have none of it. Full disclosure again, I'm probably too close to this thing because I think the world of Larry. But fuck it, I'm right. Lagana, Corgan, anybody else involved with the NWA, you are making a crucial mistake when you can afford to make none. Yeah? You're fighting a war. And you're entering this war without propaganda. And you're entering this war removing all of your potential weapons before you even start fighting this fucking thing. From a guy who has a sympathetic ear and a voice towards you. He's predisposed. Larry Goodman's an older guy who looks longingly at the territory days and would be very excited about your studio show. And the fact that you're dismissing him out of hand. Look, Lagana, the only reason you got a job back in wrestling once you were out of the WWF as a writer was because you sort of hooked on to the burgeoning podcast thing. And at one point, he had the #1 podcast in its category. Did you know that, everybody? I knew that. And what was that podcast? It was him and other ex-WWF/E writers being bitter fucks and complaining and not so much. And he got a lot of attention doing that, and eventually people brought him on board, brought Lagana on board, because he was sort of the anti-WWE guy. And it was attention that he garnered through podcasting. But make no mistake about it, guys. If the NWA put out a podcast today, nobody would fucking listen to it. You guys are fighting a guerrilla war from the ground up. And you're taking people who would be sympathetic to your cause. You're taking people who would actually house your fucking guerrilla fighter asses and feed you and help you. And you're telling them, no, we don't fucking need you. Guys, you have to be the group of the people. It's the only card you have to play at this level that you're at. And the fact that you bothered vetting Larry enough to know whether he had a profile picture on his Twitter or not tells me you did enough diligence, but then made the dump. That means you saw that he wrote for the biggest thing in Georgia where you're doing your studio tapings, dumb fucks. And that he gets reprinted for bigger stories, PW Insider, which again speaks right to your demographic and audience, and Dave Meltzer, who again speaks right to your demographic and audience. And what it would cost you is nothing. There's no sunk cost to having Larry Goodman there, dumb fucks. Is it that you're trying to seem exclusive? Are you trying to seem like, oh, we're going to go about things in a different way and we're going to... Right now, it's hard to get excited. And if Dave Lagana is who wrestling people or people who want to give you coverage are going to deal with, and his attitude is going to be what it is, you're fucked. fucked. And frankly, you all deserve better, unless maybe you don't. Because if this is going to be your attitude, go fuck yourself. You should be begging guys to come. You should want the tapped out guys there, running a live podcast from the event. You should reach out to guys like Larry Goodman instead of rebuffing them when they reach out to you. You should be dying to get any kind of coverage from Atlanta, from the AJC, from, is it creative loafing even still a fucking thing? Whatever. So let me get this straight. Ring of Honor rolls out the red carpet for Larry Goodman, who in turn writes reports for them that are very sympathetic to them, that get reprinted in PW Insider and other places. It's good enough for Ring of Honor, but it's not good enough for fucking you. It's good enough for Ring of Honor, who does shows at Center Stage that draw in the neighborhood of 700, but not for you, who is going to draw. You're going to be lucky if you sell out those $100 fucking placements and 100 studio seats. And by the way, guys, you're going to sell out for your first studio tapings. But what's it going to take for you to sell out to the next ones? Do you think those 100 people are going to buy another $100 ticket if those shows aren't great? And they're not going to be great. They're not designed to be great. They're designed to be a studio-style show. You know who you're going to need to sell the idea of coming to those tapings repeatedly? People like Larry Goodman, dumb fucks. I gotta say, I am fucking distressed about the NWA. Let me ask this, people watching this, many of whom subscribe to my YouTube. Are you subscribed to the NWA's YouTube channel? Of course not. Do you even know if they have one? I don't. What's the NWA's website? Fuck if I know, and you certainly don't visit it. What about their Facebook? What about their Twitter? What profile picture do they have on their Twitter? You don't fucking know. You guys are fighting a guerrilla war, and you're not armed, and you're starving to death, and you're turning away the people that would house you, feed you, and help you. Color me not excited. I'm so unexcited at this point. I'm kind of like Billy Corgan. With my hat askew. NWA's coming. It's going to be great-ish. Our champion is that guy from Impact. And some of our big stars include our women's champion, who also wrestled for Impact, and Eli Drake, who made his name in Impact. See what I'm getting at? You see what I'm saying? And this is hopefully a wake-up call to Georgia promotions themselves. Utilize the resources that you have access to. The stupidity at one point that James from Viral was like, they need to cover us. They need to because this one podcast shows up at our shows. They go out of their way. Fuck you. You should be reaching out to the tapped out guys and to me. Because the people that do, and there are people that do, I'm more than willing to help. And I'm more than willing to talk them up. But you have to make the effort, because in this relationship, and that's what we're talking about, the relationship between the press and promotions. The promotions get the better end of the deal. What do I get? I get one more piece of content to talk about in the myriad of content that I talk about. It's you who have to put out the work of promoting, and that means fucking making sure press is there. Is that not promoting 101? Does Gary Lamb not make sure the tapped out guys are fucking happy with his shit? Does Southern Fried not make sure of that as well? And guess what? They're the A-list shows, dumb fucks. Anarchy needs to reach out more. Peach State needs to reach out more. All these promotions need to reach out more and more and more and more and more. And for fuck's sake, Invite Larry to your shows. Invite Rob Rod to your shows. When Rob Rod puts out a thing saying, what are the promotions happening? I'm thinking about going to a show. You should be fucking stabbing each other to get to him and have him show up at your show. It's the very least you should be doing. The very least. The historical record alone of having somebody cover your show that you can fucking share, and like, this person showed up at our show and this is what you missed. The more people hear about your show from as many different sources as possible, the more likely they are to attend your show in the future. And NWA, by not having Larry Goodman, you've taken out one very powerful way out of the three things that you're going to need for people to continue to give you money for your unknown product to show up. Your videos online is going to get you 100 at your first show. Congratulations. But in the future, you're going to need fresh faces to show up and be willing to pony up money. And that's not going to happen. I don't even know how they're showing your studio show. Does fucking anybody know? Do they know? Larry's coverage would go a long way to helping you. I'm fucking disgusted. Folks, and this is to all promotions, wrestlers, and whatever, getting the attention of the press and courting them. That's your fucking job. There's been a lot of discussion recently online about, oh, if promotions want you at the last moment, they should just acquiesce to your demands, and things Sugar Dunkerton was saying. And Scott Hensley put out a thing about handshakes and how veterans sometimes tell you you're supposed to shake hands with everybody. But these fuckers keep bothering me, blah, 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 blah. The shit's not that complicated, guys. Negotiating with promotions is the gig. That's a big part of the job. Period. And whining that promotion shouldn't make you negotiate ever is horse shit under any circumstances. It's just, you're not fucking doing your job. Shake a motherfucker's hand. What is the handshake in a locker room about? And it's creating a relationship, creating a bond. And if the NWA's attitude right from the jump is, we don't want a relationship with the press, then frankly, Lagana, you especially, you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. Period. So Georgia Promotions, let me ask you, are you strongly establishing those relationships with Georgia wrestling history? I don't see an increased number of people submitting their shows, posters, or news, or reports. I'll say this. The shows where people couldn't show up, Rob Rod, because Larry had a very personal family thing he had to take care of, so he couldn't be at various shows, but they made sure they got reports in. It's what you do when you're trying to fucking win. You need allies in this fucking war we call wrestling, guys. And your best allies are the people that are going to give you coverage. You can hate me all you want, but it's not when I'm saying negative things about you that it's bad. It's when that I don't care to talk about you at all. That's when you're fucked. And NWA, I gotta say, as of now, unless you fucking change your course as far as how you treat Larry and the press in general, but especially Larry, you're fucked too. Don't become a Spike the Football video, National Wrestling Alliance. And promotions in Georgia, learn from their glaring mistake that they're making right now. This has been Full Disclosure.